Hello, everybody. This is part 2 of Do These 30 Things If You Want to Be Unstoppable. Number 16, confidence is your greatest asset. You've heard it before, running a marathon is far more mental than physical. A person's ability to run a marathon or do anything hard, like build a sales force, learn how to sell, learn how to, set appointments, learn how to recruit people, learn how to get results, is more a reflection of their level of confidence than their actual ability. Your confidence determines, number one, the size of challenges, goals you undertake. In other words, if you're not confident, if you don't have belief in yourself, you're never going to attempt a goal or a challenge that you feel like you're not going to have success undertaking. Number two, how likely you will achieve those goals and how well you bounce back from failures, which is everybody has failures. Nobody goes through on the way to the top without having, number of failures. It's just the part of the deal. And if you have a failure and you don't have the ability to bounce back, well, chances of you becoming highly successful are about zero. If you're not confident, you will never put yourself out there in the first place. When you're confident, you don't care how many times you fail, you're going to succeed. And it doesn't matter how stacked the odds seem against you. The most important thing in developing confidence is doing the preparation, doing the work, mastering the skill sets, acquiring knowledge so that you feel confident. If you have not done the work to master the skill sets required in your endeavor, and you haven't done the work to acquire the knowledge that you need in your endeavor, then you're not going to have any confidence. You've got to do that work first, and then you'll feel confident, and even when you have a failure or two, you know you're going to succeed at some point. You'll just keep moving forward and just bust through it. Number 17, surround yourself with people who remind you of the future, not the past. When you surround yourself with people who remind you of your past, you'll have a hard time progressing. This is why we get stuck in certain roles which you can't break free from. The fat kid, the shy kid, that sort of thing. Surrounding yourself with people who you want to be like allows you a fresh slate. You're no longer defined by your past and only the future you're creating. And by the way, people that are getting it done, are making it happen, they're gonna want to be around you too if you're the same like. One of the things that's really important is like attracts like. And if you're in the business of trying to attract great people, then you need to become a great person, and you need to surround yourself with people who are going in the direction you're headed. Number 18, let things go, but never forget. Being unstoppable requires carrying no unnecessary mental or emotional baggage. Consequently, you'll need to immediately and completely forgive anyone who has wronged you. However, forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you have to do further business with those who have wronged you. It's just that you don't want to have that baggage. You want to let go of it and move forward. And those people that have wronged you, leave them behind. Go become the person you want to become, and then you'll start attracting the right people into your life, and you'll become, like those people that you're associated with. Let it go. Let it go. The only person it hurts when you don't let it go is you. Have clear goals. This is a big deal. One of the people always ask me, how do you keep going? How do you, after you've done so well, you've made a lot of money, how do you keep going? Because I have clear goals. I know where I'm trying to go in my life. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. It's easy when you know where you're going. When you have a clear vision, crystal clear vision of what you're trying to accomplish with your life, it's never a problem getting up and getting after it. While a fixation on results is certainly unhealthy, short-term goals can be useful developmental tools if they are in balance within a nurturing long-term philosophy. According to the loads of psychology research, the most motivating goals are clearly defined and time-bound. In other words, you know those goals inside and out. They're crystal clear. You can see them in your mind's eye as clear as day, and there's a time frame on that. You have a time frame. I want to accomplish this by, X date. And that's what you do. You have clear, totally clear, defined goals with a time bound on it. Your goals can either be focused on your behaviors I'm going to write 500 words per day, or the outcomes you're seeking, I'm going to get published on the New York Times by June 1st, 2016, or I'm going to be promoted to X position by a certain date, or whatever it is. It's very, very clear. For most people, behaviorally focused goals are the better and more motivating option. But when you crave the results so much that the work is irrelevant, your aim should be directed straight at the outcomes you want, thinking about them nonstop. One of the things that I've always done is I put my goals, I have a synopsis of my goals where I can place them on a 3x5 card, and I can have them on my a mirror where I get ready in the morning, on my sun visor in my car, on my phone, in my presentation material, on the refrigerator in my home, everywhere. I want to be looking at those things nonstop. I want my mind and my subconscious mind to get infused with those goals so that I'm thinking about them all the time, because that affects my behavior. So if I'm thinking about my goal all the time, then I'm going to be making the right choices that are going to lead towards accomplishing those goals. But if you forget what your goals are, if you don't keep them ever present in front of you all day, every day, you're going to get distracted, and distractions lead to your economic destruction. For most people, behaviorally focused goals are better and more motivating option. But when you crave the results so much that the work is irrelevant, I know I'm repeating myself here, your aim should be directed straight at the outcomes you want. However, results-focused goals are better when short-term and grounded in your long-term vision and philosophy. When your why is strong enough, the how will take care of itself. So these short-term goals are like daily goals. What are you going to do? Every night before I went to bed, I had goals for the next day. I had every hour totally planned out, hour by hour. From 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, I had every hour, I had a plan for each hour so that I could accomplish that goal that I had for that day. I had weekly goals, I had monthly goals, I had daily goals. If you do those, then the yearly goals will take care of themselves. If you're focused on doing that, you're not going to have any problem accomplishing your goals long term. Number 20, respond immediately rather than analyzing or stalling. He who hesitates is lost. Cato. Anticipation of an event is always more extreme than the event itself, both for positive and negative events. Just do it. Train yourself to respond immediately when you feel you should do something. Stop questioning yourself. Don't analyze it. Don't question it. If it came from God or from yourself, just act. You'll figure out what to do after you've taken action. Until you take action, it will all be hypothetical. But once you act, it becomes practical. One of the problems for most people is they think too much and act too little. You need to get in the habit of acting. 21, choose simplicity over complication. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. Boy, is that true. This is one of the reasons why, like, for example, in my business, you need to understand the products. We sell financial products, and so if you don't understand the products inside and out, upside and down, every which way, then you will not be able to explain it simply so clients can feel comfortable making a decision to buy from you or to join your business if it were, okay? If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Smart people, I've noticed, want to complicate everything. That doesn't work. The more complex a thing, the more people are going to be left out. It's easy to be complicated. Most of the research and jargon in academia and business is overcomplicated. People are too smart by half. Cutting to the core and hitting the truth is hard because it's simple. As Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. In fact, simplicity is genius. Very few people will give you the truth when you ask them a question. It gets mighty complicated. There are so many variables, or it depends, they say, or it's complicated. T.S. Eliot said it best. Where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Where is the knowledge we have lost in information? Wisdom is timeless and simple. Learn wisdom and choose it. 22, never be jealous or envious of someone else's accomplishments. This is very important, folks. I know a lot of you probably get jealous or envious of what other people are doing or how they've done. You need to stop that right now. Being unstoppable means you genuinely want what's best for everyone, even those you would consider your competitors. Jealousy and envy are the ego, which operates out of fear. The reason you're happy for other people's success is because their success has nothing to do with you. You are in control of you, and you are different from every other person. There is no one who can do exactly what you can do. You have your own superpower with your own unique ability to contribute, and that's what you're going to do. And the other thing is, when somebody else is highly successful, it should instruct you, it should tell you that if they did it and you do what they did, you can duplicate, mimic, and model, and maybe even do it better. Don't be jealous. Model and mimic, and get yours. 23, take the shot every time. If I fail more than you, I win. Seth Godin, author and marketer. You miss every shot you don't take. And most people don't want to take the shot. Fear of failure paralyzes them. You miss every appointment that you don't make a call to make. You miss every sale that you don't ask for the check or ask them to do business with you. If you don't take the shot, you can't win. The only way to become unstoppable is if you stop thinking about it and just take the shot. Don't do it only when it's convenient or when you feel ready or when you feel comfortable. Just go and make whatever adjustments you need after the fact. 24, don't get caught up in the results of your success. Always remain focused on what got you to those results. The work, the preparation, the focus. When you start doing noteworthy stuff, there are benefits that can become distractions. It can get easy to ride the wave of your previous work. I see this happening constantly, man. People start doing really well. They get so enthralled by the success. They start making money. They can't wait to start spending it and buying things and showing off and all that. Big mistake. Focus on the work. And you think you have a lot right now, you'll have so much more in the future. Keep practicing. Perfect your craft. Never, ever, ever forget what got you there, and never stop doing the things that got you there. Like for me in my business, it's recruiting directs. It's training people to be pros at the kitchen table, right? It's getting wide, which means in my business, recruiting a lot of directs, getting wider and wider, and producing successful people. That's what gets you success in my business. Whatever it is in your business, never forget what got you there and keep doing it. 25, think and act 10 times. When 10 times is your measuring stick, you immediately see how you can bypass what everyone else is doing. Dan Sullivan, founder of Strategic Coach. You know, my friend Grant Cardone, he wrote a book called 10 Times. And you know what? You need to do 10 times more than you think you need to do, and you need to do 10 times more than your competition does if you want to win big. Most people, even those you deem to be world-class, are not operating at 10 times. And in truth, you could surpass anyone if you radically stretch your thinking and belief system. Let me repeat that. In truth, you could surpass anyone. All those people you think are not passable, that are insurmountable, you can surpass anyone if you radically stretch your thinking and belief system and you start going 10 times, making 10 times more calls, 10 times more study, 10 times more preparation, 10 times more everything. Going 10 times changes everything. As Dan Sullivan has said, 10 times thinking automatically takes you outside the box of your present obstacles and limitations. It pulls you out of the problems most people are dealing with and opens you to an entirely new field of possibilities. It separates you from the crowd, folks. When you take your goal of earning $100,000 this year and change it to $1 million, you're forced to operate at a different level. You know, there's a lot of people in my business that are making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, and if they started thinking 10 times, they would go to a completely different level. A lot of people think $1 million a year is a lot of money. It is, but it isn't, really. There are people that make much more than that. I tell you, there's a huge difference between making $1 million and $2 million or $3 million. It's gigantic, folks. It's a huge separation. Making $1 million is great. Making 2 or 3 or 4 is way better. Believe me, I've been there. The logical and traditional approach doesn't work with 10 times. As Shane Snow, author of Smart Cuts, How Hackers, Innovators, and Icons Accelerate Success, has said, 10 times progress is built on bravery and creativity instead of working smarter. The question is, are you willing to go there? Not just entertain the thought for a second or two and then revert back to common thinking. No. Are you willing to sit with the 10 times thinking? Are you willing to question your own thought processes and open yourself to believing an entirely different set of possibilities? Like whatever your goal is this month, what if you set that goal to be 10 times more than what you think you can do? Maybe you don't hit 10 times, but maybe you hit 5 or 6 or 7 times, and you far surpass what you would have done otherwise by thinking small. Could you convince yourself to believe in your 10 times potential? Are you willing to undertake goals that seem lunacy to you and everyone else, or are you going to succumb to the pressure of people telling you, that's not possible, you can't do that? Are you willing to take the mental leap, trusting the universe will conspire to make it happen to help you accomplish your goals? We'll see. 26, set goals that far exceed your current capabilities. You need to aim beyond what you're capable of. You need to develop a complete disregard for where your abilities end. If you think you're unable to work for the best company in its sphere, make that your aim. If you think you're unable to be on the cover of Time magazine, make it your business to be there. Make your vision of where you want to be a reality. Nothing is impossible. Paul Arden, author of It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be. Folks, that is huge. Look, I don't care how good you are, how weak you are right now, where you're not where you want to be. The thing is, where do you want to be, and are you willing to get there? Are you willing to do the work? If your goals are logical, right, if you're a realist, they won't force you to create luck. They won't force you to do the things you need to do something incredible. Being unstoppable means your goals challenge you to become someone more than you currently are. As Jim Rohn has said, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Number 27, make time for recovery and rejuvenation. Wherever you are, make sure you're there. When you focus on results rather than being busy, you're 100% on when you're working and 100% off when you're not. This not only allows you to be present in the moment, it allows you needed time to rest and recover. And by the way, when you're focused on results rather than being busy, that's the big key, folks. Results are everything. Results talk and BS walks, folks. Your ability to work at a high level is like fitness. If you never take a break between sets, you won't be able to build strength, stamina, endurance. However, not all rest produces recovery. Certain things are more soothing than others. Recovering from my work generally consists of writing in my journal, listening to music, spending time with my wife and kids, preparing and eating delicious food, or serving other people. These things rejuvenate me. They make my work possible, but also meaningful. 28, start before you're ready. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Chinese proverb. That is a great, great saying. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Most people wait. They believe they can start after they have enough time, money, connections, credentials, where they know everything. They wait until they feel secure. Not people who are unstoppable. Unstoppable people started last year. They started 5 years ago, before they even knew what they were doing. In fact, I started, when I started really focusing, I wanted to become wealthy, I wanted to be financially independent, I wanted to get free. This was in 1979 when I made the decision I was going to become wealthy. I said it to myself, I said it to my spouse, and I said, I'm going to become wealthy. And to myself, I just made a decision I was going to become wealthy. And you know what? I worked my tail off. I read all the right books. I went to the right seminars. I did tons of work. You know what? It took me from 1979 to 1987, my average income was about $40,000 a year. In 1987, my income jumped to $409,000. In 1988, it jumped to $885,000, and then the rest is history. Made millions since then, but the fact is, it took me that long to get, the awareness level, the skill set level, to be able to radically change my income. And so I started basically, 1979 to 1987 is, basically 8 years. It took me 8 years. That's when I started. But when I started getting the payoff was 8 years later. You willing to do that? Believe me, it was worth it 1,000 times over. Look, unstoppable people, they started before they had money. I didn't have any money, certainly. They started before they had all the answers. They started when no one else believed in them. Nobody thought I was going to become successful. I was too shy. I was introverted. Nobody that knew me thought, there's no way that Hector is going to become successful. The only permission they needed was a voice inside them, prompting them to move forward, and they moved. Nothing ever truer than that, folks. 29. If you need permission, you probably shouldn't do it. A mentor of mine is a highly successful real estate investor. Throughout his career, he's had hundreds of people ask him if they should go into real estate. He tells every one of them the same thing, that they shouldn't do it. In fact, he actually tries talking most of them out of it. In most cases, he succeeds. Why would he do that? Those who are going to succeed will do so regardless of what I say, he told me. I know so many people who chase whatever worked for other people. They never truly decide what they want to do, and they end up jumping from one thing to the next, trying to strike quick gold, which, by the way, is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. And repeatedly, they stop digging just a few feet from the gold after resigning to the fact that the spot is bare. In other words, they're stopped. It's tough for them, so they go, well, this isn't working, and then they jump to something else. And, of course, the same thing happens there because nothing happens overnight. It takes, like I told you, it took me 8 years to finally get things really rocking. So if I'd have been jumping from every other year, jumping from one thing to another, I never would have gotten it going. No one will ever give you permission to live your dreams. Number 30, and finally, don't make exceptions. Zig Ziglar used to tell a story of traveling one day and not getting in bed until 4 a.m. An hour and a half later, at 5:30, his alarm went off, and he said, every fiber of my being was telling me to stay in bed. But he had made a commitment, so he got up anyways. Admittedly, he had a horrible day and wasn't productive at all. Yet, he says, that decision changed his life. As he explains, had I bowed to my human, physical, emotional, and mental desire to sleep in, I would have made that exception a week later. I might have made an exception if I only got 4 hours sleep. A week later, maybe I only got 7 hours sleep. The exception so many times becomes the rule. Had I slept in, I would have faced that danger. Watch those exceptions. Hence, Zig was unstoppable. From this point, your strategy is to make everyone else get on your level. You're not going down to theirs. You're not competing with anyone else ever again. They're going to have to compete with you. From now on, the end result is all that matters. When you're unstoppable, you'll make sure to get what you want. Everything you need to know is already within you. All you need to do is trust yourself and act. Are you unstoppable?